Can you tell me a little bit about how this partnership is going to be implemented and how fans and people coming to your concerts can benefit from it?
Kind of the basis of kind of educating people via the Instagram live of what End Overdose as a nonprofit does. And that's pretty much provides Narcan, which is I forget the official name, something zone. But Narcan is a drug or is a pretty much a counter drug to stop an opiate overdose. It pretty much like blocks your opiate receptors, and so if you're overdosing, it'll just pretty much kick everything out. And I have actually had to use it on myself when I overdosed, and it saved my life. So I feel like it's a great thing that they provide, that anyone who wants it can order it for free. And I mean, in a perfect society, if everybody who went to a show, everybody who went to any sort of festival, if they all had Narcan, like I have some in my backpack right now, it's just like a thing that if you carry it around and you can see someone who's going potentially into an opiate overdose, you can just save their life. It's like a life-saving extra thing, that can be in a purse, in a wallet. So I want it to be that comfortable for people, and I want them to know how to use it, which is what the IG Live is for, and also how to, and that's pretty much what End Overdose is about. It's that plus, they can provide test strips and stuff like that. Test strips do become a bit of a more of a
Hmm.
legal struggle, which is definitely something I want to start working on, just in terms of venue owners or promoters and stuff. If they are handing out test strips, that can sometimes become a liability, because then they're knowingly letting people use drugs on their prep, which is like a piece of law, in my
Yeah.
opinion, that should definitely be changed. So eventually, I'd love to get there, but right now, I want to just focus on having Narcan massively available for people who come to any show. I'll have it. My crew will have it. If anyone is in need of it, that's not going to be the reason that there's any sort of issues. Hopefully.
Man, you really read my mind. And a couple more questions on this note. What are some of the obstacles you faced, if you've even at all started to try pick away at that sort of war on drugs mentality that sort of prevents people from being able to take safer, more cautious, more mindful approaches to substance use?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really big. You can go gigantic in this topic in terms of, where it's tough. Like if I just take it personally, I think everybody can do more personally, which is one thing that I think I can actually help implement. Is if everybody knows about this and it's more accepted, and knows about the overdose issue, and that no matter what drugs you're buying, you don't know exactly what you're getting.
Totally.
Um, People are still going to make those mistakes, and so if everybody kind of knows how to react to that and is somewhat prepared for that, it'll just make for a better, larger community. In terms of pushing that even further, there are yeah, there's some struggles. I mean, I think there's things in place, that are uh, putting us into very challenging positions where, I can't promote something that is potentially going to break the law. Obviously,
Hmm.
you know, I'm sober. I don't do these things, but I also think everyone needs to live their life and needs to experience what they need to experience. And I want to have a safe place for people to do that. And I always think that that's important. But yeah, I would love to fight those battles at some point. I think putting, slowly putting, doing what I can. I think that's just how the whole game works. Is it's fucking slow as shit, and as frustrating as that is,
Yeah.
it's just how it goes, and that's kind of the country we live in, which is frustrating. And I want it to be not one side or the other. It's just like, this is universal. This is just reality. Everyone experiments. A lot of people experiment with things, and there's nothing wrong with that. And let's just keep everyone safe. Why can't we just do more people safe because things are reality and people are going to do things. So
Totally. Last thing,
yeah.
last thing from me, and I'll let everyone else get on with the music. And I thank you. And by the way, we don't have to talk about this if you don't want to. But you mentioned your own overdose. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about how your own life experiences have sort of spurred you and motivated you to want to take care of the audiences that are coming out to your shows.
Yeah, I mean, I think my story is different than just like I'm not a person that was just going to a festival and accidentally took a wrong drug. I was, addicted to opiates. Um and at the time of my overdose was using heroin intravenously and was at such a low point in my life, had gone through so many different treatments and just I had no sense of self. I didn't really care about my life. And there was like just a low depth of that. And so coming out of that, being at such a bottom, and I was so powerless at that point that I was willing to pretty much do whatever I could do, like spend my time with whoever I could do. I didn't want to lose my family. I wanted to just like I wanted to love myself eventually. I wanted to care. And so I mean, music did that for me massively. And that's why I started making music. That's why I got so obsessed with electronic music. And, I was writing for blogs myself, trying to find good music and trying to find new artists. And I was obsessed with that. And I thought it was at that 2011, 2012 time. It was so cool. Everything was so organic and it was so fun to like see these artists come up and then see them live at shows. And so that just took over in my life and it was so awesome. And then that transition to me making my own music and doing my own shows and having my own fan base and then being more public about my past issues and how I ended up here. So I mean, yeah, I think that music being such a impactful part of my life, I think pretty much uh, saved me from where I was, and that's why I'm so passionate about it now. Because I think everyone should be given that opportunity. I think too many people are dying accidentally, and I think even with addicts like myself, the drugs that are present now, you don't really get a second chance. Like I was given second chances, luckily. But with fentanyl and shit, it's just like it kills you so much faster. It's like super sad. So people like me that may, have gone that wouldn't have gotten it the first time, it's just so scary. And so, I think there's a lot that, at a certain point, it's every person's decision what they want to do with their lives. So, I just want to be here and tell my story and say how I was impacted by music and by this community and stuff like that.